Okay.
All right.
I am sorry.
Weird. No. Trust me, I've done way worse. Let's see. At that again. Retag you all. Retag little old me. Kreature Korner. Cheat chat on the upcoming film. Coffee, as always, by Pearl Java. People haven't heard me talk about that enough. I just want to do it enough to where my name becomes synonymous with them, so that maybe I can get my own coffee flavor.
It'll happen. It'll happen. You keep saying it'll happen.
I just, all right,
The other thing too is you
here
can go
we,
like, well, I'll leave otherwise. Just give me a
yeah,
flavor, you know.
or else, like I need that kind of leverage. From Conti Films talking about their upcoming film. Um, Parallels. All right. And just before we get started, do you use he, him, they, their pronouns? Any
Aw.
of that?
You can just do he, him. That's
All
fine.
right. I like to make shiggity sure.
That is really
So
cool.
I try. All right, let's see. What camera am I hooked up to? Make sure I'm looking at the right one. There it is. Okay. And here we go. Spooky. It's
Little,
starting.
little internet magic.
Ooh, yeah, ooh, it's fog. Totally not hot coffee. We're live, I think. What's going on, everybody? It's me. It's Kris Bell because we just live here on my page and not over at the Kreature Korner. But that's okay. We're still technically in the Kreature Korner. We're just not at the Kreature Korner. But along for the ride through the wonderful technical difficulties that are always sure to come with anything I try to do is the one, the only Daniel Goad from Con DWG Films with his new upcoming film, Parallels. Here to talk all about it tonight. We're going to chitty chat about it, going to have all kinds of talking about it. Daniel, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. I've been anticipating this for a lot longer than just today because you and I have been trying to get together for like 2 years or something. And
This is true.
first time we talked, I was like, I don't have anything yet. Like I can't. I want to talk to you and like share stuff, but I don't have anything to share yet. Like come back later, and then you came back later, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, we pushed it back. Maybe
You
next
know,
year.
like but we're here now, and that's all that matters. And where did I see you again? At the Yule Craft Fair
Yeah, that was
out here in
basically
Sevierville.
yeah, that was the first time we actually like started talking. And it's funny, you're one of those people that are always like around the circle of people that I hang out with, and it's like one of those
Yeah.
Venn diagrams, and eventually we just hit together, and then we were like, okay, don't go
Yes.
anywhere, like keep me in your contact
Yeah, don't
list.
move.
And but no, yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, you've had a lot going on over these 2 years. And on top of you saying, like, I don't have anything to show, just because you didn't have anything finalized and completed and edited didn't mean that you weren't still working your fingers to the bone, along with the amazing cast and crew that you put together for this film.
I am doing my best to like make sure to highlight everyone because it was a group effort. So yeah, I
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
pulled strings and tried to get stuff, but I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for the group of people that worked on this film.
And see, just to hear that, because that is a big thing. Like some of these filmmakers, they're really gung ho about, you know, it's my vision and you wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for my vision. Well, you wouldn't have people to be in your vision if there wasn't actors and cast and crew.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure if you
it's a
just
group effort.
if you picked a random cast member or crew that we had, and you asked them like, how many times did Daniel willingly want to change something to make it easier for someone else? They'd probably say quite often, because there were tons of times where I was trying to like, there's a moment where it's your project and your film, and then it's our project and our film.
Mhm.
And then right after that cusp, because
Right.
I've never felt that change, I was like, I don't know what to do. I want to make everyone
Mhm.
happy and I want to listen to everyone. Like I don't know everything, so I need to uh, just be like a sponge and try and uh,
Right.
filter everything and be able to do stuff. So no, it's absolutely our film. I may have done a lot of stuff in the 6 years before the movie got made, and then just other stuff. But no, it wouldn't have. There would be nothing if it wasn't for the other people that we've had around us.
Right. And hey, we've got our first commenter over here, Mr. Jason Gotzi, saying hello to the two of us. So, hello, Mr. Jason Gotzi.
Hello, thank you for joining.
So, and by the way, the reason that we are doing this the way that we are here on my personal page instead of over there on the Creature Corner is because, like I said, the technical difficulties that I host with this show, it's monstrous. It's ridiculous how many problems I end up having. So, in light of making the scene that Daniel was nice enough to send me exclusively to show you all that you can't see anywhere else other than here on the Creature Corner until the movie comes out, I didn't want it to look like, what did I call it? Bogged down water trash? Is that what
Uh,
my computer made it look like?
yeah, in that's the PG version of what you said, but yeah. So yeah, that was the thing. It's just literally like again, like I try not to take anything for granted. Us doing this right now, the technology is amazing. I still think of the movie Cable
Yes.
Guy and him talking about internet gaming before internet gaming. And no, I'm happy that we're at
Yes.
least able to talk. We can we can
Right.
handle and talk about the scene later, which in and of itself,
Yes.
it was difficult to pick which scene to show because I don't want to spoil
Oh, I'm
anything.
sure.
There's so many different scenes
Sure.
that would lead to I don't I just don't want to give too much away. Even like with the
Of
trailer that
course.
we'll eventually give, it's still like the first half of the movie. Like even the group that we have, I've tried to be as transparent as possible. I've shared a lot of stuff. I even shared editing, basically a
Mhm.
full scene, streaming on the page, and just trying to
Yes.
like tell people like you can do it. Like it's a thing. I'm trying to like
Right.
encourage other
Yeah.
people, but most of the stuff that I've shared is very before you get to the Emerald City sort of thing. Like there's a lot of stuff that's very behind the
Right.
curtain and hidden for a reason. So yeah, it was kind of hard to. There was one other scene that I was like, maybe I can share that, but no, I picked this one as it's kind of short and sweet. It wraps up a lot of the narrative, and
Well,
it kind of leaves a mysterious,
yeah.
like, ooh, I want to know what they're talking about. So that's why I picked this one.
Right. And it does. I know that's so hard to figure out. Like, I don't want to give too much away, and especially when you know the story, so you are afraid. But it seems like sometimes too, like even something you show in a trailer, someone's not gonna know what was going on there just from the trailer until they line it up with the movie.
See, I think that's one of the I know well, I'm assuming that one of your questions like leading into like how indie film is like done, what's my perspective on it? Like I think a lot of times the
Of
trailers for
course.
smaller budget shoestring stuff doesn't have the ability to do what Hollywood does, where like it adds in stuff that's like never in the movie. Like
Right.
it's not B-roll, but it's like stuff that
Right.
they just chose to put in, or like it's tantalizing and it looks better in the trailer, but it doesn't make any sense in the real movie.
Uh-huh.
I just know that there's a lot of stuff that
Right.
if I showed, it would already lead someone in a different direction to maybe think of like, oh, I know what the
I
movie is about and
see.
I know what's going to happen. So it's just me being a
And
an
that's
OCD person of like, I don't want you to know what's going on. It's like, try to be that gatekeeper kind of
and
thing.
that's the best part of it. Is just based on the scene you sent me. I really enjoyed the scene. There was a lot of good chemistry on from the people on screen there, and it did leave me wanting more. But I didn't know, it's like I walked in the room and maybe stumbled upon an argument that was happening. Was like, oh, maybe I'll just back out here
Yeah.
and
Well,
listen from around the corner. I don't know what's happening.
that could have been for any scene that we chose because yeah, the instant chemistry between Darren Lee Cup and Jason Crow, really everyone that we had, we're so extremely lucky of the cast that we had, and then the things that fell into place. There were a lot of catalyst actions and things that were out of our control
Mhm.
and scrambling to try and change up stuff. But no, like that this scene that we are talking about that will eventually be on the Creature Corner, it just encapsulates a lot of
Yes.
the power dynamic of the characters, the
Mhm.
open-ended what are they talking about kind of thing, and then also
Right.
I don't know. I'm very happy with the scene because it really paints a picture to lead you in to go, do I want to watch this or not? That's basically, you know.
Right.
And it's what 3 minute, like a 3 minute scene for three. I think it's
Yes.
3 minutes. Yeah.
It it was, yeah, it was right at 3 minutes that you sent me, and that's all it took from me because I did want more. Hello there, Wade. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for saying hello there in the comments. Great to see you, my friend. Um, but the scene that we are talking about, it will be posted on the Creature Corner here in a little bit, as well as a blooper reel from that scene. Absolutely hilarious.
I was hoping that you'd laugh.
watching and that's the other thing. I I like watching people have fun on set together. Just knowing that you all did have a good time on set together and it wasn't some weird fucking awful movie that you were like, I'll make my actors do 1,000 takes.
No, it was well. Two comments on that. So like, we had a great
Hello, Random.
relationship before the movie started. A lot of the people that has worked on this project, we were already friends. We were already work associates. We had already done projects together. We knew
Oh, cool.
how when you're on day 7 without sleep and someone didn't
Mm-hmm.
run gear correctly or the lighting dropped because someone's tired, like you get under people's skin a lot easier. But if you know each other, that lack of sleep, that exhaustion, just the work mode 24/7, uh, it's a lot easier. So,
Mm-hmm.
not saying we didn't have any
Oh
challenges,
yeah.
but like we were able
Sure.
to skip past that kind of awkward period where it's like, well, I don't know if I can trust you with this.
Right.
You're giving me advice, but where is it coming from? Like that
Sure.
kind of thing. So no, everyone got
Right.
we got so along so well together. And then the other thing, the takes. I was definitely not Stanley Kubrick on this. I did not make anyone do things like 1,000 times. I think the average time I think the average time it took to get a scene right, just because of the professionalism, preparedness, and everyone's lines, like the RJ and Jason and Darren knew their lines better than I did, and I wrote this thing like 24 times with different drafts and whatever. I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. But we had
Oh, I
maybe
don't doubt it.
maybe an average of like 2 to 3 takes, and and that's it. I think the most we ever did was
Wow.
6 takes on a scene, and that was a oneer. It was a really long running
Hmm.
take, and it was a lot to get the timing and everything situated. But no,
Hmm.
that was the we couldn't have done that if we weren't already locked in to each other and kind of knowing
Sure.
what was going on. The other thing too to comment on that is
Right.
kind of how we sectioned filming was in two slots. So
Hmm.
we filmed for 4 days in Indiana first, and all of that was basically exposition, dialogue, the setup,
Hmm.
lobbing the
Okay.
ball before the home
Sure.
run, having all of that kind of done.
Yeah.
A lot of that was character building and getting everyone to bounce off of each other. That was the stressful
Right.
thing of like, will the stuff come off the page and sound okay? I mean, we were changing a few pieces of dialogue
Sure.
when Darren was saying it or when Jason was saying it. I was like, that sounds awful. No, we need to change
Mhm.
that. Like, it just people don't say they
Sure.
don't speak like that. And
Right. And
we
that happens when you're writing.
it yeah. And we even
It's
cut like 3 pages of a scene in Indiana for the better. Um, and then
hmm
once that was done, we had kind of a month off, and then we had 4 days of filming in Tennessee, and that was all of the heavy duty stuff, all of the major
okay.
occurrences within the movie, and it was it was way more stressful in terms of behind the camera in Tennessee just because of everything that had to go into it. But
Sure.
having the first part where everyone got together, they gelled, everyone was
Hmm.
understanding the work ethic and how everything was being done.
Sure.
Everyone came to Tennessee. The last part with smiles. Everyone was happy. Like it was a really good morale booster to be able to get that first half done and not have any issues.
Sure.
Not have any
Right.
real snags. So strategy worked out
So
in our
see, I mean,
favor for that.
yeah, absolutely it did. You basically saved yourself a week and a half to 2 weeks of the filming process where your actors are coming in cold and having to get to know each other by having that's how I like to do it too. I want to work with people that I enjoy working with because that's what makes it fun. And like our friend over here in the comments, David Cunningham said, who is my filmer. He's my cameraman and editor. He said, no matter the budget, without chemistry, there is no movie. And absolutely.
Yeah,
You can have all the money in the world, but if nobody meshes on screen,
yeah. And see, that was the cool
so
thing too. So like a few of the people who were on screen have been on screen together before, and it was
oh
kind of neat
nice.
having a different perspective. But then there were other people
Mhm.
that had never interacted with each other. Like the big one that I had always
Okay.
um, such anticipation in my own head and anxiety and thoughts and just like the wish making that you do when you're kind of like projecting and trying to visualize like what's going to happen was Amber Burns
Oh
and
yeah.
Jason Crow. Having those two people on
Mhm.
set together in the same frame, I'm like, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be amazing. Like I just want to see it now. And everything that they did together, like in the movie, it just pulls on you. Like literally, like their character relationship is just tear jerking, and that's the whole point. Like it's a very
Oh,
uh, I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to use too many adjectives. Well, we didn't even really talk.
it's just
This is how terrible I am. We didn't even really tell what the movie's about. There's people in here that I've maybe don't know what we're talking about. I'm dumb.
so the name of the film is Parallels.
Yeah.
What kind of host am I?
No, that's my fault too, because I distracted you. So yeah, hi, I'm Daniel Goad. I'm the writer and director of Parallels. It is a horror movie inspired by Lovecraft lore, and it's a possession movie,
Mm.
uh, sort of, where
Oh.
we are following a pair of monster hunters who are trying to save
Oh.
a woman's life, and it takes place over about a 4-day period. And once the monster hunters
Okay.
once they're on screen, basically, uh, it's already hit the fan, and we're in a tailspin
Okay.
in this story of what's going on. So yeah,
Yes.
that's not
And
quite the
see,
synopsis
now
on the
I'm
back of the
okay.
DVD, but yeah,
Can you pitch it in 23 words or less? Because
I've not really perfected
that,
the elevator
no,
pitch. Still working on that one. So
right? Oh, and but to have that authenticity between two people on screen, to have those emotional moments, and like you said, for the action to happen pretty much boom boom. By the time the monster hunters have hit the screen, it's hit the fan. Like
yeah, there's not a lot of
Rook says, it's like if H.P. Lovecraft wrote The Exorcist.
yeah. So yeah, that was how we initially uh, promoted it, and it was kind of before we started filming. Like that's the other
Hmm.
really neat thing about this whole project, because it blew my expectations out of the water with like all of the prepping and planning that we did and stirring the pot and getting stuff ready and prepared.
Hmm.
When we started filming, and like I was telling you before, that first section in Indiana where it was all the exposition, all the dialogue, all of the getting the stuff off of the chest to be able
Yes.
to set up the story, it turned into a
Hmm.
horror drama. Like it was always supposed to be kind of a suspense thriller, but it became a drama. And we were crying on set. Like I mean, in the clip that I showed you, uh,
Oh wow.
uh,
Hmm.
Nick was running sound during one framing, and Becca and I were together. Rebecca Urban, and uh, we were just watching. We were just watching Jason act, and I mean, it's kind of hard when you're watching someone cry, even if it's not genuine. You know that they're
Sure.
acting, but it's the human interaction that
Right.
makes you start crying. And
Right.
once the scene's done, you're just like, okay, guys, that was really good. What's next? Are we good? Are we good? So we had a lot of
Good.
that, and it even when we were doing a lot of the Tennessee stuff, even though it's a lot of heavy duty kind of parts of the story,
Mhm.
we still felt that. Like there was a lot of
Mhm.
stuff that was
Right.
both like really uncomfortable, really emotional,
Hmm.
super powerful and loud. Like we were having
Hmm.
fun behind the camera in hopes that the audience, when everything's done, is the same reaction. So like we were enjoying the
Right.
movie getting made just as much as we want people to watch it and go, I'll give that a thumbs up. I'll recommend that to someone.
Right. And that's all you really can ask out of your audience, is for them to enjoy what you've made and for them to say, thanks for making that, please make some more stuff, we like what you made.
That's the intention. That's
So
that's a good goal.
that's
I think that's the minimum.
you know
That's what we're shooting for.
so tell me, typical day, let's say not a typical day on set, we don't want that. I want, what was one scene out of this, without giving anything away, you don't even have to really give me the scene, but one scene that you all had maybe the most difficulty getting through?
I'm gonna have to filter my answer because yeah, if I give anything away, well, I can kind of well hold on, I can kind of give a general uh,
There we go.
puzzling response to you. Um,
That's even better.
so so there's a guy, okay, and then there's a girl, okay, and they're having a scene
Hmm.
together,
Hmm.
and um, it's
Yes.
it's an extremely critical scene to a character arc within the movie.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's a very, very intimate's not the right word because that gives a different it paints a different picture, but it's just very close. A lot of the scenes are
Sure.
either
Okay.
close-ups or extreme close-ups. We're very up and into their business.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
most of this movie we shot with one camera. There was a lot of stuff that we did with two cameras, and I'm very,
Wow.
very, very happy that we
Hmm.
had both Tony Walters, who was our director of photography, one of my best friends, super trusted
Hmm.
person that's on this movie. More often than not, I was like, Tony, what do we do? He was like, but you're the director. Like, what do you want me to do? And I was asking. I was like, you know, not telling, but like being open to be
Hmm.
like, just I don't know what would work. Do you tell me what will work? Is this feasible?
Right.
And then we had Roman Josart, who, with all of his experience through Studio 605, we weren't, we couldn't have been set up with a better crew to just be able to go. There's no problem that can't be solved. But with this scene, it was mainly just one
Hmm.
camera. So instead of the two getting coverage at the same time with what we're doing, we only had one.
Hmm.
So we had to do this a few
Oh,
times back and forth. And through all of this dialogue, um, it's very uncomfortable. There is a lot of dialogue in this movie that may
okay.
make you kind of shimmy in your seat a little bit, and that's the point. Kind of
All
elicit a
right.
reaction to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was only uncomfortable because of what we were doing, and we had to do it a few times. I would say
Right.
that one was
I see.
rough, but the people, the guy and the girl in the scene, they were super professional.
Hmm.
So it wasn't anything like it
Yes.
wasn't like pushing any buttons. It was just, are we getting
Right. Sure.
what we need? Is it coming across? Is the camera getting the
Right.
nuance? And does it sound okay? Are we putting emphasis on the words that we're supposed to be saying in the correct way? That
Sure.
was a pretty, completely not giving you any details, but like that was
Yeah.
that was a pretty rough scene, and a lot of it too, which was really cool. And this was a gadget that Roman brought on set, was basically a media server. It's a portable media server, and it connects to
Hmm.
the camera, and it allows everyone and their smartphone to connect to that media server, and we can watch the scene from our phone in the background or while we're
Whoa.
eating or like upstairs or
Yeah.
somewhere else. And I know that this tech
Whoa.
is like it's on other people's
That.
sets or like higher budget stuff. Like, I'm not dumb, but for our small little
Right.
budget movie, it changed everything because
Well, yeah, that's awesome.
it allowed everyone to be in on the moment. Yelling quiet on set 50 times an hour uh, is one thing, but then
Hmm.
when someone can just pull out their phone and literally watch the scene, they don't want to talk to who's next to
Right.
them. They want to see what's being made. And
Sure.
that was the whole fun. Like every person that was on this movie was doing different things. Everyone had multiple hats. We all had multiple roles. Everyone was running around
Sure.
like I'm very grateful. Super grateful that everyone worked as hard as they did. But
Man,
being able to
that's the only way you
instantly
can get things like this done.
yeah. I mean, there's if people were sitting around again, it wouldn't be made. But having everyone have Video Village
No.
in their pocket, that changed a lot
Hmm.
of mentality. That was a super cool thing. And we only really had that in um, Tennessee. We didn't have that in Indiana. But still, it was
Okay.
fine. It was still cool because
Sure.
in both sites we had a DJI Pocket 2, a little small 4K camera hidden in every scene
Hmm.
basically. And that's why we have so much behind the scenes
Oh,
footage.
cool.
We recorded everything. So we were watching that from like
That's awesome.
my spouse Rook's phone, who was doing that second unit production of doing all the
Mhm.
behind the scenes. So yeah, Rook's right over there. I love you.
Yes.
Without you and just being able to do that, like people could go over to them and like look over their shoulder and they could like move the camera and like we had bird's eye views and like
Hmm.
like neat little angles, and all of that will be in our behind the scenes featurette kind of making of movie thing that we're putting together too. So
Yes.
you know,
I
that's a
think you can actually see that camera you're talking about in the behind the scenes deal that you
yeah.
sent me.
So
You get a kind of a bird's eye view from one of
yeah.
those
So
cameras.
so the bloopers too. It's a great thing because like I don't see a lot of this kind of multi-camera stuff for everything.
Hmm.
And again, trying to be
Sure.
transparent. I think that's the word of the day. um, we
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
have multiple angles of what's going on behind the scenes. So like seeing what's from camera A and camera B, and then also that
Hmm.
little DJI that's in the the nook and crannies of this room, showing like
Sure.
Nick Barr working his ass off, Roman sweating his ass off with the Ronin
Right.
and like holding the rig, and like all of us doing
Hmm.
all of these things to we're all a part of the movie. We
It's
might not be
nice.
top bill cast, but we're there. We're in it.
Exactly. It's nice to me when a filmmaker, especially, an indie filmmaker, does take time to set up a little behind the scene camera because I don't know about everybody, but I want to capture those little moments. I want everybody to see how hard they worked and have something to look at and go, other than the movie, wow, here we were busting ass.
A lot of this too, and this is a great segue, just to thank our Indiegogo backers. Movie would not be made.
Yes, I was about to ask you about that.
Movie would not be made without Indiegogo. Now we had already planned to do a behind the scenes kind of thing anyway, because like you're only going to
Hmm.
make your first feature film once. So I was like, I want to capture everything that I
Right.
can. But we added that as a stretch goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's just do that. And then we can just add that and put maybe a little bit more panache and a little bit more effort into it because we're making it a thing.
Sure.
But no, that was all my spouse. I love you. I love you. That was I handed that to them, and then they're going to edit the behind the scenes too. So we had cast and crew interviews. We had uh, the signing of all the posters and all the little activities and stuff that we had going on. And yeah, we literally
Yes.
we had more behind the scenes files than any other file that we had captured. So all the audio and all the video with two cameras, the behind the scenes stuff was we had way more than that. So I think this is just off the top of my head. So we had 1,300 or 1,400 behind the scenes video clips and photos, and then a
Wow.
thousand, 1,030 video clips from both cameras, and then we had like 500 or 600 audio clips, I think. So really not that much. I mean, that's really
Holy God.
low level
Oh,
things,
no.
because
Yeah.
we chose to obviously shoot in 4K, and that's
Sure.
a nightmare on whatever storage device you have. But then Roman came
Oh,
in
yeah.
swinging his 6K, and we were like, I guess I got to get another hard drive because you got to, back up everything at least 3 times. So we were like, where are we going to
Right.
put,
Oh, yeah, you do.
where are we going to put all this stuff? But no, we were better to have more than less in any situation. But still, all of those amounts, like
Sure.
we only shot for 8 days. This movie was torture. We really like crammed in,
Wow.
um, uh, and I apologize. I'm sorry to every cast and crew member, but we stacked so much on top of us to get this made in a short period of time because of life and
Well, sure.
the inability
Yeah.
to do a lot of stuff and have a lot of freedom. But we did it. We did it, and I'm
Hmm.
very happy. A
Yeah.
lot of the stuff that we've done, I'm very no regrets. I'm very happy with what we have.
No regrets over here. So we've talked a little bit about the budget. We've talked about the cast and crew. We've talked about the plot and the genre and everything going into it. Tell me just a little bit about kind of what maybe editing headaches or things like that you've run into, and how close you are to getting the final edit done.
So, um, when we finished filming in July, um, there was a lot of advice and myself, like knowing full well that you need time to heal. You should back away from it. You should just
Mm-hmm.
relax, take a take a breather, and do something else, and then come back to it. Um,
Yeah.
and then I was saying that myself
Yes.
too, because 16-hour days and the stress of everything, being like, I want to back away from this, and
Mm-hmm.
once it's done. But I didn't do that because I'm dumb and I'm addicted to this movie,
Yeah.
and in a few days, actually, in just maybe a week and a half, it'll be 7 years since the movie was first like started or conceptualized. So it's it's been a good chunk of my
Yes.
life. Um, but anyway,
Yeah.
everyone was like, at least take like 2 weeks off. Don't make sure the footage is backed up
At
and
least take 2 weeks off.
yeah, like make sure it's backed up. Do all your stuff.
Yeah.
Unload the stuff from your car, pack stuff away, wash your
Mm-hmm.
clothes, just relax. Just do whatever.
Take a shower for God's sakes.
I relaxed for 2 days. And
Oh,
then I started
for 2 whole days.
for 2 whole days. Hey, that first day I slept like a baby, like a big fat baby. Like it was
Guaranteed.
awesome. Well, the thing was too, and again, I'm just sharing this because it's like everyone knows. Like if you've been in those positions, like you
Mm-hmm.
know. So when we
Oh yeah.
when we were done in most days in Indiana, we had a good chunk of time after the sun went down to kind of relax, and that's when everyone was either able to finish their dinner from earlier before a scene was started, or be able just to chill
Yes.
out and talk and relax. But I've never had to be on this side of the production before. So as a director, or the
I
the
see.
the top hat person, I couldn't stop.
Yes.
So I was I was dumping footage and backing it up, and that took
Mm-hmm.
hours. Um, and
Oh
I
yeah.
was taking like micro naps, or just little power naps to like be able to do stuff.
Uh-huh.
And in Tennessee, I barely got any sleep. So like there was a lot of technical issues where like the hard drives weren't transferring that fast, and I was getting really annoyed.
Yeah.
And I had set up
Uh-huh.
like behind this wall is our laundry room, and to
Mm-hmm.
maximize like I don't want to say comfort, we packed people in my house like sardines. Um, but I slept on a cot in the laundry room so that I could have a my computer and just a monitor set up away from everyone, so I can be
Mm-hmm.
just alone. And once everything's done, I can just come here and then
Uh-huh.
dump footage and then sleep next to the computer. That way, if anything's wrong, I'm taking like 15-minute
You
naps.
just wake up.
Yeah, I was making sure everything was done right, but I didn't sleep a lot because
Of
there was
course.
issues. But that way, everyone else could have room, and everyone was able to space out kind of, and I wasn't taking up too much space. Um,
We put you in your Harry Potter closet and it was fine.
Pretty much, I was happy. Not really. That was rough.
So,
There's a lot of anyway. I'm getting off track. So through all of that, those 2 days, I basically just was in a coma. I just slept. It was great. Then
yes,
after that, I
it was
didn't.
needed.
Yeah, but after that, I didn't want to take any more time off. Like the entire time, and like the
Sure.
stress and anxiety, like I had already promised so many people, Like we, uh, not just the cast and crew that every time I looked at them, I just didn't want to let them down. Like I had to keep going and keep pushing, and like I hated making
Sure.
mistakes or like saying the wrong thing and confusing people on set. Like I still kick myself for stuff. But then the 240 some odd Indiegogo contributions that we had, I was like, I have to keep going. Like I can't let them down. So
Right.
after 2 days, I got all the hard drives and I started organizing
Hmm.
all the files and labeling them, putting them in folders, which were in other folders, which were in a bigger folder, and having everything laid out so that it is prepared. That way, I don't have any issues. So to answer your question, editing has been everything good.
Oh yeah, my cat kicked the door in just now, and I was like, "What's happening?"
It's like feed me. I'm hungry.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
I want
I
catnip,
just saw the
peon.
door kick open and nothing came through. I was like, "Oh crap! The creature corner's haunted." Okay, hang on, but sorry.
No, you're
Anyway,
good. Um, but basically, to answer your question,
I thought I
editing
might die for a second, but
editing's been fantastic. I haven't really had that many issues, other than just like my system specs. Like I have to do everything I can to put stuff down to proxies and lower res stuff to edit them and be able to like just be organized and whatever. But this is the biggest project I've ever edited, and there was a lot of anxiety with how am I gonna pay attention to the scope. Once you have a really long timeline or a really long
sure.
project, you start losing sight of
Mhm.
things because that's what happened when I was writing the script. That's why there's like 25 different
Yeah,
versions, because over a 6 year period, I would edit pieces of dialogue and then jump a few scenes and then edit a few pieces of dialogue and be like, this doesn't make sense now because of
I
what I
see.
changed last month and all that other stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
so I took a
It's
lot of
all part of the
advice.
process.
I took a lot of advice. So again, listening to the people who've done this before. So with
Mm-hmm.
Tony and Roman being the pillars of people that I was listening to because they've done this multiple times, they were giving me like little pointers and little snippets, little eggs of knowledge, and through
Sure.
through their help with guidance on like how to do your folder structure to make sure you never lose a file, you know exactly where it is when you need to pull it,
Mm-hmm.
how to set up your timelines and being able to just flow through editing instead of like the thing I can metaphor it is like the chicken pecking with keyboard typing, just the one finger,
Yeah.
versus being able to actually do
Oh yeah.
multiple words per minute. But I I've been lucky, to be honest. Editing has been
Yeah.
um, something that I can actually look forward to, other than like my normal day job,
That's good.
and
Right.
kind of balancing with like, oh well, I'm having a terrible day. I'll edit. But the other thing was
Right.
I never edited in a bad mood. That was a thing I knew if
Okay.
if I had a headache, if I was annoyed,
Mm-hmm.
if I just had a short fuse, I would ruin what I'm working on
Mm-hmm.
because I would either cut too short or let a scene
Right.
run on too long. I would not choose the right take. I would mess up
Sure.
some sort of audio thing. Um, so I was trying really hard to
Right.
like pay attention to how I felt before I even opened up my editing software and stuff. So editing's been great. And then,
I think
sorry,
that's good.
I'm really long-winded. I answer things
No, you're
awfully.
that's okay.
Uh,
No, you're doing great.
editing of the movie is basically asterisks done. And
Oh.
there's a lot of asterisks there.
Oh.
I hate saying
All
that
right.
because when a filmmaker says it's done, it's not. It's not done. You still have
Sure.
tons of stuff to do.
No.
But basically, like uh, post production started like the beginning of August. Like officially, that's when I had all of the
Okay.
stuff labeled, and I just now I think I've done like a third final version that's got like everything laid out, and even that I changed.
Oh.
Like I'm listening to feedback
Right.
and different
Mm-hmm.
different stuff of like like pre-screening, like listening to the people that worked on the movie of like
Sure.
what their opinion was. The other
Absolutely.
the other cool thing that we did through our Indiegogo and stuff, that we didn't really promote it this way, but once the Indiegogo closed,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to I didn't want to share my ideas yet of like what I had planned. So when
Sure.
post production actually started, I set up a Dropbox folder, and scenes that I was working on, I
Okay.
shared those with the executive producers who had bought perks for the Indiegogo. And I'm just like, look at what we're working on.
Okay.
This is a skeleton of the
Yeah.
scene. This is a horrible sounding, no mixed audio version of something that might be in the movie. So I think that that's really cool. I mean, does anyone else think that that's kind of neat? Like,
Yeah.
from someone from my perspective, just like, here's part of the movie. It might be cut, it might be in the final thing. Like, I don't know.
Right. No,
Am I
I think that's
crazy?
a really cool perk.
But
Not
we
at all. I like that.
we only did that for a few scenes, and I would say
Hmm.
maybe a generous 40% of the movie was shared with them,
Hmm.
and like different versions, like different drafts, um, which I never
Sure.
have seen someone do before. Like if you have, like, correct me. Like, have
I've
you
never heard of that.
see? Yay, trendsetter.
No.
But like,
Yeah, not a, yeah, absolutely.
but
I
then
like that.
we had a private Dropbox folder that had all of the goodies, the little spoilers and the stuff and things that happen that, like,
Right.
is
Oh,
the movie.
yes.
But once
Uh-huh.
once I had everything compiled into, every scene
Hmm.
is done, then I started putting them together, which was a whole other, I don't want to say nightmare, it was a challenge. It was a really big, cumbersome
Sure.
obstacle. Because, truth be told, I didn't really think a lot about transitions in the pre production process. So that when we were filming, Tony was looking at me like, so how does this scene go to the other one? Did you did you think about that? And I was like, guess not. We'll think
Did
about it.
you?
But it wasn't that bad. Like, there was a lot of
Got to keep it parallel.
keep it parallel. There was there was
Got to
there
keep
were
it parallel.
there were a lot of things that were planned. Like, I had a very specific, um, script and screenplay, and like the storyboards that we did. Like, a lot of stuff was already planned,
Hmm.
and I'm sure the first thing that a
Sure.
lot of people will say is how prepared I was. But on the inside, there was still a lot of worry, and like a lot of,
Sure.
uh, what's the word? Like, just confusion of, will this work or not? And honestly, during the editing
Sure.
process, it didn't. There's a lot of stuff that I had planned out that just didn't work. So you got to problem solve. You got to figure out like
Sure.
what can be subbed, what fits the narrative
Right.
in a different way. So like, there's a lot of stuff like, man, I wish I could have gotten like 10 more minutes, or like if we would have done one more take, or
Sure.
if we could have just like spent an hour doing this rather than this. Like, there's a lot of that, like, looking back.
Sure.
Still no
But
regrets though, but
there would have always been. There you
y-
go.
yeah, I mean, everyone has hindsight
Because you.
after the fact, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it got made. We're in the finishing stages. Do we have any projections for a release date?
Yes, but I'm not telling you yet. So,
Oh,
so well,
yes.
So,
So where do they need to follow to keep up with that info?
well, the best way is literally, and I hate promoting like Facebook because it just controls all of our lives. But honestly, that's the easiest way to follow
Hey,
us because so
you know,
either go to the Condog Films film page, or you can just type in Parallels Film Group, and I'm actually going to see if I can put it in the chat here. And
oop,
we're sharing everything. I really
yeah,
tried to share as much as I could from this entire like set of memories, and it's been amazing. So like
right.
we have tons of behind the scenes photos that are posted, a lot of the post production screenshots and different stuff, screen grabs from like the final colored
Mhm.
rendered movie, and it's it's good.
Yes,
It's a good group, and I think that we share a lot more stuff than a lot of other groups do, but we don't spoil the movie.
I would agree with that.
I'm not gonna throw anyone under their bus, but there's a
Right.
lot of pages, and I know that it's like you're excited. You want people to like watch your movie and like know what's going
Hmm.
on, but like they're showing off who's murdered in the movie,
Right.
or they show off like the super secret cameo of the person you paid to be flown in to have 5 minutes of screen time. Like don't do that. But
Right.
you know,
Don't.
but anyway, if you're listening or watching, like I posted the link
So
to the film group, but that's basically that's the best way to follow
yes,
what we're doing. In terms of a release date, soon, like sooner rather than later. So
yes.
the the whole thing with this is kind of our what's our goal? Like everyone's kind of like what's the end game? Like
Sure.
what are you hoping to do? It's kind of that mother figure who's not really supportive, like, oh, you make movies, where can I see it? You know. So the entire time,
Yes.
the entire time that I've wanted to do this, I never thought that it would be this big. So to be completely modest and honest, I'm very happy just to have a feature film that I can have a premiere for just the cast and crew. If they just watch it, I'm happy. But then we have all of the DVDs and Blu-rays that we're giving out to the people who did our Indiegogo, and
Hmm.
I want them to be able to watch it. So honestly, like when this releases, it's really just giving
Hmm.
the people that we already know who helped us get the movie made to have them have a copy. Will someone rip that and
Sure.
put that on a streaming site? Maybe. I think I've seen every indie movie that's in our circles ripped and put on some sort of website. But
Sure.
when this will be streaming, I don't know. The goal
Okay.
for me was to put it on Amazon Prime. To me, that was like that was
Okay.
way above expectations because I just a goal. I do want to submit this to film festivals. I don't care if it wins.
Yes.
I guarantee you that we're gonna get some Best Actor awards. I'll bet you right now. I
Oh yeah.
the people that we have in this
Just from the
movie,
one scene I've seen.
dude, it's so good just for the effort that we had. Just the cast putting in the work.
Yes.
And the first thing that came to my mind is RJ. He's so physical. Like he should have got hurt on this film. He was doing stuff where we weren't even asking him to get hurt, and he would just like throw himself in different places. Like I know the scene that that is is gonna be posted by you is featuring Jason and
Yes.
Darren, but RJ is
Hmm.
like, oh man, he's like a little rag doll in some pieces of the movie. But no, I get like if we go to any film festival, if we're lucky enough and we have that effort, I guarantee you we'll at least have some sort of best performance, best actor, actress, whatever, like best supporting role, something like that. I don't care about
Yes.
best director, best writer, best editing. I don't care. I want the people that worked on the movie to
Mhm.
have something to show for it because that was the whole thing. Like I want a good enough project so that someone else could go, "Hey, look at this movie I did 2 years ago." I think
Yeah.
I think this on my resume for this project. Look at a few of these scenes. Look at the reel that I did for this. I think that'll fit the character you need. I want that. That was the whole thing of like
Right.
having a talkie be a resume for the people that we have for this.
Sure.
So
Well, I truly don't think you're going to have any issues taking this to film festivals, showing off what you all have done, winning these awards, bringing attention to this film. And I can speak for myself and say that I am crazy excited to see it. I'm already part of the Parallels Film group. I follow everything you all do. The Condog Films page, I follow it because I try to keep up to date with what this film's doing. A release date is coming soon. You heard it here first. And those scenes are going up on the Kreature Korner very soon. Daniel, thank you so much for coming into the Kreature Korner today with your amazing film that you are going to be releasing TBD very soon.
TBD. No, the thanks is for me because again, we've been talking for a while, and like I've had opportunities
I
to
know.
like just try and promote this in other ways. And I'm so scared of just doing anything or just I hate being an introvert. Like I really hate it and I have to push past that barrier
No,
a lot. But no, I'm
you need to.
happy I'm happy that you and I are doing this and then I'm sharing something so that your followers and stuff can see something and then hopefully you get more people liking your page from
Yes,
our group and the people who know of this
that's
little project. So
yeah. We've shared all the pages. Let me here you go. Somebody come join this page too. Like at the Kreature Korner. So, to all of you out there who have watched this, and to Daniel, thank you again so much. The pleasure really has been all mine. This has been a blast. I'm so honored that this was your first interview on this film because, come on, you've been great. You got nothing else to worry about. Any other host that has you on their show is going to be lucky to have you. You've been a fantastic guest tonight. And be sure check it out. Parallels. Keep your eyeballs peeled open. And as we like to say here in the Kreature Korner, you ready for this go home, Daniel? Be sure to creep those eyes peeled, my funky fiends, because there's always more coffee and more creepy ghouling on in the Kreature Korner. A boo bye. I say the same thing, right? It's my thing that I say, but now we can go home with it. Daniel, thank you, my friend.
thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody. Everybody that was involved in this film, you did an amazing job already just from the small scene that I have witnessed with my eyeballs. So I can't wait to see the rest. We'll see you all soon.